Have you ever heard a strange noise in your house when you were home alone? A creak from the floorboards upstairs, a whisper on the wind, a shadow that flickers just at the edge of your vision. Most of the time, it's nothing. Your mind playing tricks on you. But what if it's not? Today, we're diving into one of the most chilling urban legends of all time. A story that has haunted generations of teenagers and parents alike. The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs. This story taps into our deepest fears, the fear of being watched, the fear of an intruder in our own safe space, and the terrifying realization that danger might be much closer than we think. The story usually begins on a dark, quiet night. A teenage girl, let's call her Sarah, is babysitting for a wealthy family in a large, isolated house. The parents are out for the evening, leaving Sarah in charge of their two young children who are already sound asleep in their beds upstairs. The house is huge, with long hallways and more rooms than Sarah can count. As the evening wears on, the sheer size and silence of the house start to feel less luxurious and more unsettling. To pass the time, she settles down in the living room to watch TV. A little while later, the phone rings. Sarah picks it up. "Hello," she says, but there's no answer. Just silence. She hangs up, figuring it's a wrong number. A few minutes pass, and the phone rings again. This time, a man's voice is on the other end. It's a raspy, low whisper. He asks, "Have you checked the children?" Sarah is a bit spooked. She assumes it's a prank caller, maybe one of her friends trying to scare her. "That's not funny," she says, and slams the phone down. She tries to focus back on the movie, but her heart is pounding. The silence of the house now seems heavy, filled with unspoken threats. 20 minutes later, the phone rings for a third time. It's the same raspy voice. "Have you checked the children?" This time, his tone is more insistent, more menacing. Sarah is genuinely scared now. She tells the man to stop calling and that she'll call the police if he doesn't. He just chuckles, a cold, empty sound that sends a shiver down her spine, and then hangs up. Shaken, Sarah decides this has gone too far. This isn't just a prank. She dials the non-emergency police line to report the harassing calls. The operator on the other end is calm and professional. She tells Sarah that they can trace the call, but she needs to keep the man on the line for at least a minute the next time he calls. Sarah waits, her eyes dotting around the dimly lit living room. Every creak of the old house makes her jump. The grandfather clock in the hall seems to tick louder and louder, counting down to something terrible. Finally, the phone rings again. Her hand trembles as she picks it up. It's him. "Have you checked the children?" he asks. Sarah, remembering the operator's instructions, tries to engage him in conversation. "Who is this? Why are you doing this?" she asks, her voice quivering. The man doesn't answer her questions. He just keeps repeating his chilling question over and over. "Have you checked the children?" Each time he says it, his voice seems to get closer, more immediate. After what feels like an eternity, but is probably only a minute and a half, the man abruptly hangs up. Almost immediately, the phone rings again. But this Chimmy, it's not the man. It's the police operator, and her voice is filled with a new, terrifying urgency. She screams into the phone, "Get out of the house! Get out of the house right now! We've traced the call. It's coming from inside the house. It's on the upstairs line." Panic floods Sarah's senses. The calls weren't coming from outside. The man was in the house with her this whole time. He was upstairs. With the children, the question, "Have you checked the children?" takes on a horrifying new meaning. It wasn't a threat, it was a taunt. He was watching her. He knew the kids were upstairs. Frozen with terror for a split second, Sarah drops the phone and bolts for the front door. She doesn't look back. She doesn't dare go upstairs. She bursts out into the cold night air just as a police car, sirens blaring, screeches into the driveway. The officers rush into the house, their weapons drawn. Sarah can only stand on the lawn, breathless and sobbing, staring at the upstairs window where the children's bedroom is. The light is on. A few moments later, the officers emerge from the house. One of them walks over to Sarah, his face grim. The news is the worst imaginable. They found the man upstairs, but it was too late. He had already harmed the children. The story ends there, with the image of a traumatized babysitter and a horrific, senseless crime. The details sometimes change in some versions. The babysitter manages to get the children out of the house with her. In others, The police catch the man just in time, but the core elements remain the same. The isolated house, the mysterious calls, and the final, heart-stopping twist, that the danger was never outside, but right there, inside, the entire time. This legend became so popular it inspired classic horror films like When a Stranger Calls and Black Christmas. So, why does this story stick with us? Because it plays on a very real and primal fear. A home is supposed to be a sanctuary, a safe haven from the dangers of the outside world. The babysitter and the man upstairs shatters that illusion. It suggests that the locks on our doors and the walls of our homes are no guarantee of safety. The true horror isn't a monster lurking in the woods. It's the monster who has already found a way inside. It also preys on the anxiety of responsibility. Babysitters, often young and inexperienced, are entrusted with the most precious thing in a family's life, their children. The story is a cautionary tale about the vulnerability that comes with that responsibility. It's a chilling reminder to always be aware of your surroundings, to trust your instincts, and to never, ever assume you're completely safe, even in a place that feels like home. The next time you're alone and you hear a strange noise, you might just find yourself thinking of this story and wondering, have you checked upstairs? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this dive into a classic urban legend, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more spooky stories and folklore breakdowns. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.